Hi, welcome back. Today, let's get ready to paint. I got everything set up. I got a few details to show you before that, and then we're gonna get our brushes wet. So, let's go. So here we have a part of the shark. You probably can't tell what it is because I have the other sections masked off, but here we have the top of the head and we have a part of the eye. So taking it one square at a time, I just draw what's in this particular square, not really paying attention to what I'm drawing, like the subject matter. I'm just concentrating on the shape. So of course the eye is in this picture, it's round, and I'll kind of sketch out where the different areas are, the light parts, the dark parts, and that's the goal of this is to capture the darkest darks, the lightest lights, and just to kind of give myself an outline of where I'm going to paint. And I'll take it a square at a time. And after you fill in all the squares, you'll see that the shape takes place. And you really haven't had to draw the whole thing to scale. I'm working, this is 2 feet by 4 feet. So 24 inches by 48 inches. This is actually plywood. It's thin, just a thin piece of plywood. I got it at Home Depot. The reason I started painting on plywood is canvas is very expensive and plywood is cheap. It's also a thin surface and very durable. Yeah, it'll last. Canvas over time has a tendency to warp and to rot. Plywood's forever. It's as long as you prime it correctly. I had a painting underneath this. I painted over. I never start with a blank canvas or a blank surface. I always do make some marks in it just to kind of loosen up. Then I painted the whole thing gray. And yeah, now I start from here. So here I started with the background. I mixed up some blue, some white, and some green to get this kind of ocean color. This is just the base layer. I will add layers on top just to give it a little bit more depth. But at this point, yeah, I've got the background kind of roughed in, and I'll start roughing in the details of the shark. Real quick, the paint that I use is let's see, what is it? Winsor Newton acrylic. There's other brands, Liquitex I have as well. Some of these I've had that tube for years. I also use house paint. This is acrylic house paint, dark blue. There's a jar of white. You're going to use a lot of white. Now, these tubes are expensive. They're, $8-10 a piece. And what is it? 60 ml. Not much. I get a lot more out of this, and I think it's $3.50 or $4 for the whole can. Acrylic is basically plastic, and what the manufacturers add to that liquid plastic is pigment. Some pigments are more expensive than others. You'll notice that if you go to an art store, especially in oils, like oil paints. Everything's expensive with oils. The brushes, the paint, everything. So that's a start. I'm sorry about the mess. I live where I work, so this is my dining room table / work surface, and yeah. So my next step is to add a little bit more depth into the background. I think I'll make it a little bit darker. It's a little bit light. The original picture is a little bit darker, especially off to the right as it fades away from the light. So that's it for now. The background is sort of done. I might fix a few things. There's a couple of thin spots that I'm not crazy about, but at this point it's hard to say whether or not that's complete because the background is the only thing that's complete. Once I start working on the body of the shark, which will be next week's video, I will revisit the background. And if anything needs to be fixed, I'll fix it then. So that's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe, click like, and have a great week. I will see you next Sunday. Bye.